In the modern age of sports, one of the biggest things that players want to do is not just get famous, but make money off of that fame. We've all seen players in the NBA, NFL, MLB, and more win big with certain teams and yet leave to make more money on another team. But in terms of who's one of the greatest geniuses of all of them in terms of making money, that is without a doubt the one and only Floyd "Money" Mayweather, who turned making money into a science that got him over $1 billion in his career. Which makes you wonder, how did that happen? Allow us to show you. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 8. Becoming more than just a name. In sports, there are various tiers of success, even when it comes to money that you can have. Most strive for the top tier, but other times, players just fall into it, even becoming the faces of the league. We've seen this recently with players like Patrick Mahomes in the NFL, the rise of Zion Williamson in the NBA, and so much more. These are players, along with the legends of the sport of course, who have transcended the sport in ways that are hard to describe, but absolutely pay out when the time is right. For Floyd Mayweather, he knew that this was what he had to do, and for reasons that go beyond money, because when he entered the boxing world, it was like nothing like it used to be. Boxing at one time was the sport in America, but the NFL, NBA, and MLB and others eventually stole its spotlight as legends like Ali, Tyson, Holyfield, and Foreman all slowly but surely left the sport and thus left giant holes to be filled. Floyd had become Money Mayweather to make boxing matter again and to get the payouts that he felt he deserved as a top draw. He couldn't just be a name, he had to be a brand, an icon, and draw every person possible to the fights he had, which he did over and over again. You see, it wasn't just a money grab, it was an attention grab, one that started at the most basic of places. Number 7. His amateur record. No matter what people tell you, there are definitive tiers in terms of competition in leagues of sports. And just because you're good in one league, at one level, doesn't mean you're going to be good at a higher level. For Floyd Mayweather, before he could even think about going after $1 billion in money, he had to start out as an amateur boxer, which was helped along by the fact that his father was a former boxer and thus could train him rather easily. During his amateur run, he participated in 90 boxing matches. He won 82 of them. A very good number overall, and one that many would have loved to have in their own amateur boxing careers. But more than that, this large amount of experience led to Mayweather being able to refine his craft. In this case, that would be the defensive boxing style that would lead him to many victories in the future, which obviously he was counting on big time to happen. And yeah, it did happen, and it happened quick. Number 6. His opening pro record. As noted, when you jump from one level of competition to another, you often face challenges. But for Floyd Mayweather, he didn't have to worry about that too much at all, because he started his pro boxing career at an astonishing 18-0, which led to his very first title fight that was stopped because he was beating his opponent so badly that his corner threw the towel, which just shows how dominant Floyd was in that match. But just as important, his open 18 or so boxing matches led him to getting his first ever nickname, Pretty Boy. Why such a weird nickname? That would be because he would use his defensive boxing style to ensure that he wouldn't get hit in the face, thus protecting his good looks. That name would stick for a while. What would also stick was the money he was getting through every single fight. It was a lot, but it wasn't enough for Mayweather. Not yet. Number 5. Top rank contract. The contract that you get in a sports league defines a lot for you, including the years you're in contract and how much money you make. For the first 37 fights of Money Mayweather's career, he was assigned to Top Rank, which was one of the biggest fight promoters in the world, so something that Floyd was happy with for a time. In fact, by 2007, he was making $5 million in every fight he did, so by the time he was done with those first 37 fights, he made about $185 million. A great amount, but Floyd obviously wanted more. Number 4. Getting out of his contract. Despite how good Top Rank was being, Floyd knew that he had to do something big to get more money, and that would only happen if he could get out of his contract. So being the smart guy that he honestly is, he combed over the contract and found a loophole that would let him get out by paying $750,000 to Top Rank, which he did, and he was free to do whatever he wanted, which in this case was him making Mayweather Productions and becoming. Number 3. Floyd Money Mayweather. Floyd felt that the best way to get more money was to bet on himself. So he created the Money Mayweather brand to help show that he was worth the money, wanted the money, and willing to promote to get that money. It was a winning formula too. His first match on his own was worth $8 million, and then when he did the super fight against Oscar De La Hoya, which got him $25 million. After that match, he would only do boxing matches for $25 million, and thus would continually add to his massive amount of cash he was getting. Number 2. Bringing in the best. When you think of Floyd Mayweather now, you honestly think of the super fight that he took part in that helped define his career, but even the lesser fights were made big because of Floyd. He would play the role of villain to ensure that people watched the matches, and he was also smart by making sure that his foes would get big payouts even if they lost. That lure of money was enough to bring a lot of people to the table, including Manny Pacquiao, eventually, which netted Floyd a lot of money. Number 1. Cross-promotion. But to get to the $1 billion in earnings, he had to go beyond boxing, and so he did 2 cross-promotion matches with 2 different groups. The first was when he went to WrestleMania, WWE's mega event, and battled The Big Show in a wrestling match. His payout for that was $20 million. Then he did the mega fight between him and MMA legend Conor McGregor. Though McGregor brought the fight, Mayweather won and pocketed $275 million as a result. Floyd doesn't just get the job done, he gets the money as well, and that helped him finally cross the $1 billion. So there you have it, a look at the money-making practices of Floyd Money Mayweather. Are you surprised by how good he was at making money? Which boxing match was your favorite with him? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.